Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. To my returning subscribers, thank you guys for being back here. To new subbies, thank you guys for being here. And to anyone who watches it and hasn't subscribed, please consider subscribing. Thank you guys. As per the title, I'm going to tell you about how I found out I was pregnant, my birth story, and how I told my mom, in no particular order. Right, so what happened was I lived in East London. Obviously I was doing my matric, and my partner, which is the guy I'm with now, had a job opportunity in Durban, guys. I think he moved just the day before I wrote my final paper in matric. Okay, maybe I'm 7. So we made plans, okay? He left, I wrote my paper, and we made plans. In December I would go visit, you know, just check out Durban, don't. So I asked my mom, but I think I said something about visiting or just going to see Durban because I had applied at DUT and at NMU. Oh, it's NMU, yeah. So I just thought I wanted to, you know, check out how Durban was, and my mom agreed. And guys, boom. Anyway, again, it happened. I became pregnant. So in January I went back with my mom. We were going to the orientation because I decided to, you know, I want to be in Durban, and my dad was discouraging PE. He was like, PE abantu bafundi, don't, but he like discouraged PE a lot. He didn't like PE. I think he didn't like PE because judging by how he reacted when I said I was gonna go to PE. Okay, so I go back, orientation. I left with this other girl who was my roommate, Unostero. We wait for DUT. We have to go back, write a test. She was on the waiting list. Don't. God, we decided, but no, we're gonna go check out Varsity College. Right. Varsity College, we decided there and then, but we are going to study at Durban North Varsity College. Okay, now it's orientation week. I think it was sometime in February, and December I was there. Don't. Orientation week, guys. I don't know why they had orientation at Ushaka Marine, but okay, they had orientation. I don't know if they still do it, but we had orientation at Ushaka Marine. Guys, I threw up that whole trip. The whole day I threw up. I'd go on the slide, I'd throw up. I'd go inside the pools. I threw up the whole day. I had this other friend, Uluto. Shem. She was from Umtata. Listen, she nurtured me, that girl. She took care of me the whole time. She was worried. At this point I didn't know I was pregnant, but I just felt like, hey, but like, okay, I even drank Epsom salt because I thought, okay, Zopuma, don't, it didn't come out. And then my roommate's mom had a stemate or whatever. I took a little bit of that because I had seen the effect it had on her, and girl, I'm not one to go to the toilet all the time, so I took just like a little bit. Hey, I pull me, guys, too. I think this time going to around about March. Hey, my roommate, we don't know anything about pregnancy. Like literally, we had at no point thought it could be that. We just thought, we're telling a pelly, we're telling. Fine. I think in March, sometime in March, and there's like bile, acid reflux that doesn't stop, and then one of the symptoms were like morning sickness. Guys, I didn't even know what morning sickness was because I was sick the whole day and night, So we decided, no, you know what, let's just take a pregnancy test because whatever. Jonah, we lived in Phoenix at the time. We go to a plaza, go to the pharmacy, get a pregnancy test, and it was positive. During the day, guys, it was positive. Jonah, we were so scared. Like so scared. Like my mom would call I phone and then I wouldn't answer, and then my roommate would be passing the phone around like this, like a hot potato, because she's so scared to answer. I'm so scared to answer. It was a scary experience, but I think like a whole week, and we didn't tell her, like a week or two, I think. And then after like a week or two, I sent her an SMS. I sent her an SMS apologizing. Even before anything, I apologized. I was so sorry for disappointing her. And then I told her, guys, I am very intentional with Izinda's Tetai. I literally apologized for disappointing her, apologized for everything that I've done to her. And then I told her that I am pregnant, and then I told her that I was going to keep the baby. Because in my life is the step by step. Uzotini, what's going to happen? Are you keeping it up? So I just wrote everything in one SMS. I apologized, sorry for the disappointment. I am pregnant and I'm planning on keeping the baby. That was it. She literally didn't say anything, I think, for like a whole day. We were so scared. The roommate, I think she was more scared than I was, guys. We were so scared. Like, John, I said like California, oh my god. But my mom, she's like, she's a very strict lady, but she's also very cool. She's like got two sides. I think she needed time to process it, because I think it took her like 24 hours or like 2 days to actually reply. So she just said, no, you know what, I'll just send you, okay, I saw your SMS, I'm very disappointed obviously, and I'll just send you money tomorrow. Please buy like things like spinach, fish, dondo, and relief came over me. Like, I don't think Jonga. Anyway, I've never felt that relieved in my life. Now that my mom is like accepting of the situation, we can move right along. But my pregnancy with Uzuzu, it was a smooth sailing pregnancy, but I have to tell you, it was like also one of the worst experiences that I had. I don't want to talk bad about the baby daddy, but the baby daddy was wibbling and wobbling. I think for the first month I had it bad, but I'm also one of those people who are just like, listen, if I decide on something, it is what it is, and I let go very easily. I'm just like, okay, whatever, if you know, it is what it is, and let me just move right along. So that's what I did, and then he came around. But even apart from that, the shame of teenage pregnancy, think about this, I was 19, it was my first year at school, in tertiary. I had no business being pregnant or even sexually active. So I think the shame that came along with that pregnancy was just too much. Even my relationship with Uzuzu is not like a normal mother and son relationship. Uzuzu is more of a brother. If you get, even I don't know if it's his thing, like he can't show affection, and affection is like, I don't know, man, just very weird. Like even when he says, and he'll sometimes say, oh, thank you, mom, it's just like, you can see on his face how awkward it is, and you'll see on my face how awkward it is. Just like, okay, you're being weird, and he'll just be like, yeah, you're being weird. So I think we are Kuliswa as more of a sibling. He knows that I'm his mom, and he knew I was his mom, but I think he was raised more as my sibling than my actual child. We have like a weird relationship, but it's like a good relationship. He's like my friend, but like my little brother, but like, and obviously I was 18, so he's bound to feel like a little brother, yeah, because my own little brother is like 5 years older than he is. So yeah, so okay, getting to the birth, the months went by, baby daddy was cool, everything was cool. The pregnancy itself was the best pregnancy. If ungathetha ngomntana who was, what's the word, a considerate baby, we'll talk about Uzuzu. The pregnancy, guys, was amazing. He the stomach didn't show. It was flat most of the time. It was nice. It was my body, I didn't gain any weight. I think I went under. I was so stressed out because I was pregnant. I was worried about the family. I was worried about my dad. I didn't tell my dad, guys, up until my baby was like 4 months, I think. And I think he had already heard by some dokolosh who onwebileyo walapha family. So it was the best. It was the best, but I went through the most because of the shame. It was like, whoa, okay, what am I gonna do in this baby? I'm able to hide the pregnancy because the baby is here, and I was pregnant in Durban, so it was good. It's not like I was gonna bump into a relative or no, but like the baby is gonna be out, and then what? But anyway, I think around about 36 weeks, baby daddy drove me down to East London. 36, 37, baby daddy, I think 36, drove me down to East London for the birth, because obviously I couldn't fly at that point. I had such a wonderful doctor. Of course, he was in a scandal after I stopped being his patient. He was in a scandal, and then he moved to another province. If you're in East London, you probably know this doctor. He left a piece of cloth in someone's belly or whatever, uterus or whatever, womb or whatever, and he also left a pair of scissors, and he was sued by 2 people or 1 person. So the birth, I remember that day like it was yesterday. I literally woke up on that day, and when I woke up, I went to the toilet, and I saw, when I wiped, there was like a piece of blood, a little bit of blood. So it's like, whoa, okay. So I called the doctor, and the doctor said I should go into his surgery guy, his office. I went there, but like he was not in a panic. It was just me who was panicking, because obviously I didn't know anything about pregnancy. It was my first time. So yeah, he wasn't panicked, and then he was like, no, your cervix is opening, don't worry. Because now I was like 4 days before my due date. So Wednesday, and I was like, I'm not going to leave here without the baby. I can't leave the hospital, you know, I'm so scared. So I was induced. I spent the whole day at the hospital walking the ward. And then, but it turned out that I was having contractions, but I couldn't feel it. But the only thing I could feel was, if you've given birth naturally, it was the urge to go to the toilet. So I went to the toilet until the nurses told me to stop going to the toilet, because the baby was gonna, I was gonna leave the baby in the toilet if I go any more. Anyway, I went, I stopped, and it turned out I was having contractions. They could only tell with that belt. I can't remember what that belt is called. Is it the, I don't know, that belt that goes, I can still hear it. Anyway, that's the only way they could tell. They were like, you're having contractions, and I couldn't feel a thing, guys. Guys, if I'm gonna tell you about a polite child, considerate, polite, it was that boy, Uzuzu. I think it was around about 8, my mom decided to leave, because now I had all these contractions the whole day, and the labor wasn't really progressing. My doctor came through, and he was like, okay, you're gonna deliver around about 3 a.m. So I was like, okay, cool. So my mom was like, there's no point in me being here or staying. Man, it was a wamba. So I think she just watched Generations, and then after Generations she left, and then that's when it started. After she left, I think around about 9, it started. I started feeling not the worst pain, guys. I'd do it over again if I could, but obviously I can't have any more natural births. But like, I don't know, it was like a sharp pain. In my life, guys, I've never had period pains. I've never had period pains before. I don't know how they feel. So I think it's something that's got to do with why I didn't feel any pain, because Anita was contracting the whole day, but I couldn't feel anything. But like at 9 o'clock, I started feeling my arm, and there's like this crazy crazy. The nurses came to check up on me, and I think I remember saying something like, "Nurse, how will I know when this baby is going to come?" And they said, "No, you'll know, you'll feel it or whatever." And then I was like, "The baby is coming." And then the nurses just, you know, brushed it off by Haisuka, and they laughed. But it was not like a laugh that was enough for me to feel like, man, why are these people like this? Why are they laughing? They laughed and they brushed it off. And then when she came to peeve me, is it peeve or whatever, when she came to stick her fingers, the baby's head was already out. I literally gave birth. By the time they went to go get a few stuff, I don't know, a few supplies, by the time they came back, the baby was already out. Guys, consideration. Alone, don't know, consideration. Baby was out, and that was it. I think it was like 22. It was 9:38 when the baby was out. My mom called and she was like, "Oh, don't be." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And then she was like, "How are you doing?" I was like, "I'm okay, and the baby is here." And she was like, "Hi, Bo." I was like, "Yep, the baby is here." So that was the birth story of Uzuzu. We literally spent that night. It was 20 to 10 when he was born. By 10 the next day, we were out of that hospital. And unfortunately for me, I never got to experience like a birth like that. Something I had to experience that birth in order for me to appreciate that birth. I don't know, I've just had bad births after that. Anyway, that is how Zuzu came into the world. That is the story of the whole of Uzuzu's being before and after birth. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you guys.